Give me 2 minutes of your time today and I'm going to show you the undeniable maths behind... Wait a second. The undeniable maths behind what is really holding you back from making progress this year. Here is something I made earlier. For argument's sake, we're going to assume that on average you can get to gym 3 times a week. I appreciate some of you maybe more, some of you maybe less, but 3 times a week is realistic. And let's say that you train a muscle group on every single training session and you do 3 sets of an exercise. Hammer curls on Monday, preacher curls on Wednesday, cable curls on Friday. By the end of the year, in an ideal, optimal world, you will have accumulated 468 effective sets for that muscle group. But we don't live in that world. You might on average get 4 weeks of holiday every year. For some of you lucky bastards, maybe a little bit more. You're also going to be ill, or a family member is, and you'll have to look after them. Let's say you miss 8 weeks of training. No biggie, not your fault. We're still getting 396 sets. You see where this is going, don't you? But you are also going to miss training sessions for other reasons. You're going to hit snooze rather than go to the gym at 6 AM sometimes. You're going to choose to stay in and watch Netflix, paint your Warhammers, play D&D rather than go to the gym, or whatever it is that normal people do. My clients on average have an adherence rate of around 85 to 90%. So let's say you miss 10% of your training sessions. That's fine. We've gone from 44 to 40 weeks of effective training. And we're still getting 360 sets. And up until this point, most of this is out of your control. But this is what isn't. Some of you may not want to hear this and you may not want to accept or acknowledge it, but I think you're half-arsing a lot of your training. You're not taking sets close enough to muscular failure. You're cheating the repetitions. You're not going heavy enough. You're using momentum when you should be using more strict form. Either way, this has a big impact. And if you were to honestly reflect upon how many sets you genuinely take very close to or to muscular failure with good form and good weight across the week, I think if we're being generous, it's half of them. And all of a sudden you go from 360 to just 180 effective sets across the entire year. You're already at the gym, you're already following your program, but because you don't take those particular sets close enough to failure, you don't use enough weight, you don't train with enough intent, you lose 62% of the available sets that entire year. But here's the good news. All you have to do is take every single possible working set that you do very close to or to failure to make it effective. And even if you have all those holidays, all those illnesses and all those missed sessions, you only drop 24% of the total available work. Now, this isn't a message about being mentally tough and wanting it bad enough and being hard and disciplined. You're missing out on social life. You're missing out on time with your family. You're missing out on hobbies. You're missing out on having a bath, watching Netflix and playing Warhammers. So if you are at the gym, I think you owe it to yourself and the people around you to make the most out of that training session. Nothing else you could possibly do this year is going to have such an impact. And so if 2024 wasn't your year, then this is probably where you need to start.